Hello and welcome to GPTV on the most beautiful Tuesday, the 27th of August. My name's Philip Kingston.
It is indeed, and I'm Gary Peer.
Gary, what a fabulous weekend we've just had.
It was
Let's
a
just
ripper.
jump straight into it because
Why
yet
not?
again we've
We should.
smashed and smacked the industry. How good's the market? The
What
market is back.
What is going on out there, Phil? I'm sort of a bit stunned and staggered. I feel like someone's come up, snuck up behind me, and hit me on the back of the head with a 4x2.
Goodness
and,
knows
all of a
many
sudden,
of our viewers would love to do that, Gary.
Well, I'm telling you,
and
it's a,
pretty much all the staff.
Yeah,
not me, of course.
No, of course. And how about you as the auctioneer? I think a few would have liked to have crept up on you. I've seen a few little light footsteps in some of those houses we've been auctioning lately, Phil, as well.
Viewers, this market really has caught the entire industry by surprise.
Let's get those towers up, shall we?
And those towers are going up. Let's celebrate our incredible success and our
85%.
wonderful systems and procedures, our wonderful team that ensured this happened, and congratulations
Let's
to all
have
of
a
our
happy
sellers.
boast time, Philip. 85% against the industry average of, I think it's 80%?
79, 78%.
78%. But when I saw on Saturday night the industry clearance at 81%, Philip, I got a little bit excited about that because I haven't seen 81%. When was the last time you saw a Saturday report? And I know it gets scaled back, but when was the last time you saw 81%?
Height of the boom, I'm thinking probably July, August 2017.
It was unbelievable.
That's when the market peaked, and it has been a pretty hard and cold, cruel 18 months to 2 years since then.
It has.
But it's interesting, viewers, what happens in a market is that the buyers always react very quickly to both negative and good news.
Yes.
So 2017, we were flying along, everything was fantastic. Agents were drinking French champagne and buying brand new BMWs. And then all of a sudden, bang, it was almost overnight. Buyers just said, see ya, we're out of here.
It was very quick,
and the
wasn't
market just drops. Just almost overnight. We could almost take it back to the weekend. And yet, the market, again, the buyers respond very quickly to the affirmative, and bang, it's back on again. It's been quite incredible how quickly buyers have come back.
And it's very un-Melbourne, because Melbourne usually was a bit slow, a bit conservative, things move. But now we're in a faster world, Phil.
We are.
Things are moving quickly. You snooze, you lose.
Snooze,
you lose. And
Yeah.
things are moving quick and fast, and people are decisive. Again, another weekend where people came to auctions, bid, putting their hand up, and I'm saying to the agent, who's that buyer? Never seen them, don't know who. And there are people who are just jumping in. They're feeling confident, they're feeling positive, and they're feeling that there's value out there. They're just jumping in and bidding, sight unseen, being there on the day. That's
really quite incredible how quickly markets turn down. Even more interesting how quickly they turn up again.
Hey, what about this 45? How's that for a number, Phil?
45, go
45 buyers performed at our auctions on the weekend.
Yes, very
so
good stat
45
there, Gary.
buyers. 45 people put their hand up, stepped up to the plate and said, I'm prepared to write out a cheque and purchase this property.
45 over 13 auctions because we sold 11 out of 13. So we're almost 3.5 buyers
on average
per auction.
It's pretty good, isn't it, Phil?
That's incredible.
One of the things I want to ask you, how do you value property now? Because it's quite, we've had this discussion in our sales meeting yesterday. People call you and you can go back. According to the Victorian legislation, Philip, you have to provide 3 comparable sales in the last 6 months in your statement of information, unless you can't find any, in which case you circle B, Phil. But how do you now look back 4 months ago, 6 months ago, and apply that sale to today's market?
It's a really good point because a lot of buyers, and particularly the buyers that are perhaps novices in the market.
I might take next week off.
They come to the market, they see an SOI, and there is a general expectation from the buyer that the reserve will be somewhere in the range. We're now seeing a lot of properties selling over the top of the range. A lot of buyers are going, well, what's going on here?
And the uneducated say, oh, you're underquoting. That's the uneducated claim when there's competition at a premium, Philip, because most of those properties are still being, the reserves are in their range. So they're not being underquoted.
So if I value a property, viewers, on the basis of what things sold for 6 months ago, which was pre this uptick in the market, I'm probably losing 5 to 10% of real-time value change.
Now we also...
So it's interesting. Therefore, do we kick the ball down the road and go, let's appraise properties on what we think they might get at some point, or do we stay conservative?
Well, what sort of ball is it that you're going to kick? Which one?
Well,
is it a soccer ball?
It's the
golf ball.
I'm just trying to think of the word.
Balls.
The meta. What's the word?
The
metaphorical. It's the metaphorical kicking of the ball down
And what
the
about
road.
that guy, Phil, who unsubscribed, who said, get me off, because we talked about the market going up 10% maybe. Did that just happen? And then he just said, well, you know, you guys, just get me off your...
If only we could resubscribe that
we
fellow.
should. What do you think? We'll sign him back up
Doesn't
again.
know what he's missing out
No,
on.
I know.
In fact, if you unsubscribe hastily from this show, you may be losing some golden nuggets.
You pay the consequence, don't you, Philip? We talked about a market in recovery.
Market in recovery.
I think we're now in a recovered market. Would you agree with that?
Oh, I mean,
great.
Your attention to detail, your ability to...
articulation.
The ability to drill straight to the nub of an issue. That's incredible.
253.
So tell me again.
VCE score, 253.
Tell me again, Gary, how you're now describing this market.
255 he got VCE. I'm saying it's a recovery.
410.
That's right. That's right. I'm saying, Philip, we've gone from a market in recovery to a recovered market.
Incredible. That's incredible.
Should we trademark that before we just give it away?
We had an auction on the weekend that was run by Leo Samuel and his crew from the Carnegie office.
Yes, Phil, we did. It was in Mimosa Road.
Mimosa Road, where, let me just say, viewers, if we have 3 bidders at an auction, we're saying that's pretty good. 4, we're starting to go, wow, how hot is this? And if you get 5, you're going, wow, how much interest was there? So viewers,
are you going wow during the auction?
There wasn't 1, there wasn't 2, neither was there 5 bidders, nor were there 7, not 9.
Or 10.
You'd think 10 would be a lot, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
11 would be more than 10.
12 would be insane.
Incredible.
13 bidders,
13 bidders in a crowd of 200 people in Mimosa Road.
I can't remember 13 bidders, but apparently he had a very small area to work with, Leo, like our little setup here, and there was people everywhere. If you've got claustrophobia, that's not good for you as an auctioneer, but thankfully he doesn't.
13 bidders.
13 bidders, Phil, for that property, which sold well above its reserve price expectation.
So.
Sold for 800. I'm going to look down now.
Imagine if you had 13 bidders and you passed it in.
That would be pretty stiff, wouldn't it? $821,000, Philip, well ahead of what was expected. I auctioned Wayuna Road on Saturday morning, Sunday morning. One of the auctions, we're expecting somewhere in the sort of high 5s, low mid 6s, and it did sell for an undisclosed amount, it's considerably more. But 5 bidders, a number of bidders turned up on the day, Phil.
Yes.
That can happen. Parkside Street, Elstonwick, Philip. Elstonwick, another very popular auction. Now, apartments are back, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Look, everything's
out of control.
Everything is back, viewers, because we're getting multiple bidders now on a complete cross-section of property, from a $350,000 one-bedroom apartment right through to our $3 and $4 million properties. So
Parkside
it's back.
Sold for $664, Philip. Reserve is at the top of that range, and it was in that sort of mid to high 5s we're looking at, maybe 600. But it sold for so much more, 664. And again, 5 bidders going for that one. Phil, you had a bit of fun in Theodore Street.
Theodore Street.
Theodore Street, to someone with a lisp.
Not many people know Theodore Street, but Theodore Street becomes Frederick Street in Caulfield South. Tiny little street. We had a single-storey villa.
Becomes Frederick Street.
Well, Theodore comes around and swings into Frederick Street.
It joins Frederick Street.
No, you come in from Bamber Road into Theodore, and if you keep going around the corner, it becomes Frederick Street.
Okay.
Oh, you're so tedious sometimes.
Sure that's right.
Anyway, viewers, we had a reserve there of $1.2 million, and about 80 bids later, and 5 bidders at this auction, maybe 6 bidders. In fact, it was 6 bidders. We sold it for $1,401,000.
That's a humdinger of an auction, Phil. That was a big one. And Snowden Avenue sold in Caulfield. Leo Samuel did a superb job, as he does with his team in Carnegie. This time in Caulfield in Snowden Avenue, which sold for $1,130,000, well in advance of its expectation.
If you're a resident of Snowden Avenue, I reckon if you called out what is the most successful street from a real estate agent's point of view in the city of Glen Eira,
Snowden's up there, isn't
I'm calling Snowden because there's reasonable turnover there. A real mixture of homes, from apartments through to villas, through to big mansions.
There is,
and I can't remember. They just sell all the time so beautifully. Love Snowden Avenue.
We love Snowden Avenue. Good street, good home, good people live there, Philip. And it's interesting because somebody asked for a promotional board. Someone who's part of a school, who lives in Snowden Avenue, said, "I'll put up a board." And we said, "Look, it's not really the main road, and the boards are expensive, and we put them up all the time for everybody, and we don't mind doing it because we're community agents, Phil." But we said on this, and the person said, "Well, hang on, there's been so much activity in Snowden Avenue, and there is a lot of going on. Maybe you should put it up." And we said, "Okay, we'll do it."
What a fascinating story.
Hey, you want to know fascinating stories?
Yeah.
I'll tell you a fascinating story. I haven't told you this. Go out for dinner on Saturday night.
Yep.
We sit at a table at Teppanyaki.
Yes.
This is absolutely fair because sometimes truth is And fact
is stranger than fiction.
So we sit down and there's a guy sitting over here. Right?
Yes, over here.
Over here.
Yep.
So we're sitting, there's 4 of us for dinner.
Yep.
And this guy's sitting there and he's sort of got a glass of champagne, he's on his own. And we're talking, and I think, well, I'll bring him into the conversation because I'm a friendly person, right?
Were you bored with the company that you're with?
Well, they were bored with me, more like it. So we brought him into the conversation. Anyway, this guy is from New Zealand.
Yes.
Fascinating guy.
Yes.
Before you know
fascinating person from New Zealand.
He was.
Let me think about that for a moment. Only joking, Mum. My mum's a Kiwi.
Exactly right. Well, no, he was
a lot of fascinating people in New Zealand.
Anyway, he was much like yourself, had a background of rural. He had a farm with 2,500 people working there. Anyway, before
you know, have a farm with 2,500 people working on a farm. There is no such thing as a farm anywhere outside the undeveloped world that has 2,500. He had 2,500 sheep.
Well, here's the thing, Phil. This mystery man, before we know it, he's got this very expensive champagne.
Yes.
He's saying, have a drink.
Yeah.
The next minute, you know, he's paid the bill. For dinner. How's that? He's paid the bill for dinner. So, of course, I'm chasing him with money saying, look, you can't do that. We've only just met. And he's like, no, I'm so, you know, you're such delightful company and it's really lovely to meet you. And this guy, you know, young, good-looking guy. And I'm thinking, this is incredible. So I take him upstairs. You know,
you take him upstairs?
Oh, that doesn't sound good. No, I took him upstairs to have a drink, you know,
in the
Crown. We went to the mahogany room for a drink, Philip.
You went to the
access
mahogany
there.
room.
I took him up there.
I hate the fact that you've got access to the mahogany
that's all right,
room.
Phil. Don't worry about that. Don't get upset about it. The trust account's in good nick. So I take him upstairs. And anyway, the most fascinating guy. Got interesting theories about Jacinta Ardern, about the economy, about real estate. He's looking to buy property. Anyway, before you know it, we're best mates. We're having a drinks together upstairs.
Sold him 12 properties on
Sunday.
Sold him
12, got 12 properties. But you know, isn't the world a funny place?
Absolutely.
And of course, we were all fascinated by this guy. We're trying to work out how does it fit with that, and who is this interesting fellow? And there's all sorts of theories flying around. But sometimes you just meet people, and incredible things happen.
The joy of life, Gary. The more people you talk to, the more interesting things that are going to happen to you.
I would have loved you to have been there to see actually what you would have made of this person, because he was such a fascinating person. But sometimes you go through life meeting these incredible, extraordinary people. Anyway, thanks for dinner if he's watching GPTV. I gave him a card. We might end up becoming
fantastic. Is he a regular there, Gary? Because
I'm not sure why.
Because all of our viewers are going to be flocking to Teppanyaki now, saying, I want to sit at a table with a young, semi-attractive New Zealand guy on his own.
Anyway, fascinating stories. Funny things can happen in life, Phil, as you go through your journey. That was one of them. Phil, this weekend, I think we've got about 9 auctions this weekend, Phil. We're going to be all over the place. Shall we review them?
Let's look at what's coming up this weekend.
Let's get into it. So we had a mini break there, and Jeremy Rosen's jumped in to say that Theodore Street is off Booran Road, not off Bamboo Road.
Did I say Bamboo Road?
You did. So you've been corrected. There you go.
I can't believe it. I've only been down Booran Road 8 million times.
You're getting older, Phil.
Must be.
We get older, we don't remember
little
as well.
slip up there, Gary. Move it along.
Yeah, fair enough, Phil. We're moving along. We've got 9 auctions in 6 suburbs. We start off on Saturday morning, Philip. We're going to be in St Hubert's Road.
Well, we love St Hubert's Road, Gary. It's a great location, and this is a fabulous single-storey villa with its own land. That should go really well because that sort of property is hotly contested by owner-occupiers and investors alike.
It's hot to trot, Phil. We've got triple auction action at 11:30 a.m. We're starting off in Centre Road, right in the centre of all the action, Phil.
Gary, you've got to love this property. An Art Deco style, a lovely period charm to it. Great property. Great location, should go well. Come on down.
Like the feeling of that, Philip. Murrumbina Road in Murrumbina, another address that we love. And this auction is going to be conducted by Leo Samuel.
Gary, you've got to love those apartments that were built in the 60s and 70s because they are larger and more solid than a lot of the new ones. That's a good property and a good location there too.
Nearham Road, Carnegie, Philip. David Thompson. I think it might be his first auction with the Gary Pierre badge on.
A very well experienced local operator and a very experienced auctioneer. If I'm free, I'm going to go down there and give him our support, as it is his first auction. A terrific property to be auctioning, of course. 2 bedrooms, 1.5 bathrooms, a beautiful home.
Unfortunately, you're not free then, Philip. You are part of the triple auction action.
All right.
And you're not free at 12:30 either, because there's double auction action at 12:30, Philip. You've got to be in Laura Street. Tell Laura I love her.
Well, Gary, that has been well handled by Jan, who speaks Mandarin, English and German.
Yes.
So if you're a Mandarin speaker or a German speaker, or if you speak English, come along to this one.
She can say g'day, ni hao, and auf Wiedersehen when she goes.
Yeah. Anyway,
not many people can do that.
That is a beautiful development. It's the rear, one of the rear properties, 2-storey, magnificent. It feels very much like a brand new home.
Thomas Street, Philip. Leo Samuel again. He's a busy man doing 3 auctions on Saturday?
Gary, I'm having a look at the brochure to
That's
this.
a great
This is
looking
quite
property.
extraordinary. 4 bedrooms, 3.5 bathrooms, plenty of off-street car parking, and wait for it, Gary, a gorgeous plunge pool, little swimming pool in the back garden. You don't see that very often. Shows and speaks to the quality and detail of this property.
Indeed it does. Now, Phil, we're going to jump back into our auction of the week, our
Yes.
property of the week, Phil, because we went away, Phil. We sort of drifted. We got a bit lost on the show for a while there. But
did.
we're back now. Cadby Court, Caulfield.
Wow,
now,
what
what
a
an incredible... We've got it on the screen now, Philip.
Yep.
It's wrapped
Gary.
around us. How about this incredible home? The home that used to belong to famous pianist Nahuma Patkin many years ago, Philip, because we sold it for Nahuma, but now it's changed hands, and it is an incredible masterpiece.
So, Gary, this was completely rebuilt under, I'm told, the skillful supervision of one of Melbourne's best architects, a fellow by the name of Nick Boschler.
Yes, of course.
And
No, he is.
he helped the owners before these people completely redevelop it. It's the most incredible property. It kind of feels very LA there.
It
You've
does,
got
yes.
this
It's got
gorgeous back
Palm
garden.
Springs a little bit,
Yeah,
Phil.
yeah. It's
Palm
the most
Springs
beautiful
feel.
house. And viewers, even if you're not looking for a home, come and have a look at Cadby Court because it is really incredible.
It is indeed, and we're looking forward to seeing you there. That one is coming up for auction on the 15th of September, Philip, so it's just starting. We're just getting
that's
underway
home
now.
of the week, Gary.
Home of the week it is. Back to the format, Philip. On Sunday, we've got 3 auctions. You have 2 of those. You're in Briggs Street,
Yes.
Philip, 4 at 40 Briggs Street.
Well, Gary,
with Glenn Bricker.
I like Briggs Street and I like these single-storey villas, 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom, a lock-up garage, garden area, great location. That should go well.
Leo Samuel's busy boy, as I said earlier, this weekend. This is 4th auction. Is going to be in Nottage Street, Philip.
Nottage Street,
Nottage
just
Street.
around the corner from our office.
Yep.
A lovely little pocket of East St Kilda. A bit of a hill there, just
Yeah, it
near
is.
our office. Gorgeous location. You can walk to the shops and, of course, the supermarket and our office, Gary.
Yep.
Or walk to the tram at Dandenong Road, or walk to the tram at Balaclava Road,
Indeed.
or go to the bus in Orong Road.
Yeah. What will you
just
do?
spoilt for options.
What will you do when you get to the bus?
Oh, you just
Go
wave
bus,
and
yeah.
go, why would I
Or you
ever
can
get on a bus?
Go on it. Philip, Heaven to Dickens,
You know,
you are finishing off in
when
Elwood.
you think about public transport in the inner suburbs, do you ever think about bus? See, I always think about tram and train.
I'm not a
Bus
big
is
busser.
not
Yeah.
something, I reckon, I used to take the bus when I lived, well, I was going to say, it sounds completely pretentious, when I lived in Toorak. It was only a very brief period before I was evicted.
Yeah, exactly right. Didn't
but
like it there.
took the bus
Didn't
then
like it in
in
Toorak.
Bruce Street, but you just don't think, I don't think if you live in the inner suburbs, you think of buses.
You know, a lot of the bus drivers I met on my journey were grumpy people. Sometimes you meet some nice bus drivers, but
Yep.
there doesn't seem to be a lot of even temperament of bus drivers. They're either really grumpy and on a mission, or they're very friendly and nice. Whereas trams, you used to have the old tram conductor, and in the old days, Philip, in the 70s, there were tram
were
conductors.
characters.
They were characters, they were personalities, they'd give you a ticket, a bit of a snip, they'd laugh, some of them would swing on the bars, they'd do all sorts of
Do you
funny
know,
things.
if you're
Phil.
under the age of 20, you actually don't know what a tram
conductor
conductor
is.
is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Incredible.
They
They
were
were
incredible people,
iconic.
they
Remember
were.
the bags? They had this
Yeah,
big brown bags full of
and some
coins.
of them had big tummies as well, so the bags stuck right out. They were personal. Where are the characters gone in Melbourne, Phil?
Well, it's like the AFL. There are no eccentric players anymore. It's all everything's so professional.
Exactly right.
Everything's so quick.
Dickens Street, Elwood, Philip. You are going to be finishing there at 12:30 on Sunday.
Gary,
Bring down the
big,
curtain early.
glamorous apartment, 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, undercover car parking there. In fact, a garage. So that's the property with the lot.
Ooh, it's got the lot, hasn't it? That's a big wrap on our auctions for this quietish weekend, Philip. I'm going to leave it with you. You'll have to get another anchor. I'm sorry that I
Yes,
won't
Gary,
be with
going
you
away.
next week.
Yes, again.
I am, Philip. I've got a commitment
Anybody
to
would
make.
think we had international business, which of course we have.
Well, I'm
nothing.
working on it. I'm working on
Yeah,
it. Let me see how we go, Phil. But
I suppose
working on it.
I'm just wondering because you're off to LA.
Yeah, I
I'm
am.
told.
Well, I've got a function, Philip.
Tell
I've
me,
got to go to.
if you go on to www.garypeer.com.au while you're in LA, does that make the trip deductible?
I'm hoping so. I have to ask our accountant. I have a feeling not. He's pretty strict. Our
If the
accountant.
Commissioner from the Tax Offer is watching this show, and I'm sure you probably
Of
do,
course he does. Of course. He would. He'd have to.
it will not be a deductible holiday. Hopefully you got your trip to LA on points. Anyway,
actually,
yet again he goes.
Yeah, yet again I go. Well, you know, I need to stay fresh and dynamic for our business, Philip. It's a
Yes.
sacrifice I'm prepared to make and that's what I'm doing it for the best
fresh
for all of us.
and dynamic.
Exactly right.
Yes,
That's
those
exactly
are not
right.
two words that really, when people think of you, they don't think of those two
No,
words.
I think they might, Phil. I think they might. I think you're mistaken there. But we could argue about that, but we're not going to argue about the market. It is recovered.
It's back.
It's back.
The
45
market is
bidders.
fresh, that's
it's
for
fresh
sure.
and it's dynamic, Phil.
Without question.
45 bidders. You want to sell in spring, you need to move now,
You
Phil.
have to move
Don't
now.
stop mucking around.
Because as
Of course.
this show goes to air,
Yeah.
you will be auctioning now,
October.
no longer in September, but in
No.
October. And if you
Exactly
think
right.
what comes after October, it's November and
Exactly.
December.
Racing season.
And after that, it's all over
Yeah.
until February
Exactly right.
of 2020. I love saying 2020.
That's
20.
it.
Who would have thought 2020 was
You
next
know,
year?
you used to refer to 2020 as the year we got our life back. Do you know that? Years ago, you said to me that. I'd listen to you.
Yeah,
That's the
what did I
difference
say?
between us? You don't listen to me.
I
I
don't.
listen to
You're
you.
absolutely
That's
right.
true.
Well, I
You
listened to that.
Yeah, because it was about you, right?
Yeah.
But I used to say 2020, 2020, 2020, 2020. I said, what's 2020? You go, that's the year we get our life back. Our kids aren't teenagers anymore. They're sort of flying the coop or they're independent and we get our life back. Do you feel any different going into
No,
I
in
don't think
fact,
so.
you know,
You've got
it's
bills
just
to
getting
pay.
harder.
Yes,
Anyway,
isn't it?
viewers, we love what we're doing.
We do.
We love this market. We
course we
love
do.
the fact that the year is
Yes, we're
coming
lovers.
to a rapid conclusion. And viewers, if you want to come out for a coffee on the weekends, our 2 vans are out
Yeah.
there. In fact, just quickly, one of our vans at an auction, which was the one we had 13 bidders, served 200 coffees.
Well, there you go.
We're just smashing
Do we
them
charge
out.
for that? We don't.
No,
do
we don't.
No,
No.
just business opportunity lost. That's a big wrap on GPTV on this last August edition for 2019. I'm Gary Pearce.
I'm Philip Kingston. Have a fantastic week.